Guys, today we're going to be comparing two different tiers of weed whacker, Stihl and Husqvarna brand. And we've got the $200 category here, and over here we've got the $300 entry-level commercial category. These are homeowner grade, and those are commercial. Whatever that means, marketing, whatever you want it to mean. So we're going to go over the differences between these trimmers. We got the specs pulled up. Should we hit the specs first?
Hit the specs as we go over them.
Okay, so we'll start with the 56. 56, we'll pick this sucker up. 56, this one's seen a fair bit of use. It's about 3 years old at this point. Ergonomically very similar to the Husqvarna, but Husqvarna has a very different handle on it. And tell them why you flip the handle.
Well, when you have the handle, imagine this being the other way. It just feels weird when you're holding it. It just does not give you a good grasp on it. It flipped around. It's just.
You like it better for edging?
I like it better for edging too, like that. I figured that out about the second time I used it.
So I think the biggest difference between these two is the heads, right?
Yeah.
Because this shaft you can remove to add different various accessories, but this one you can't do that. And this is the same head that you're going to get on the commercial Stihls. So this is actually a commercial grade head, whatever that means. This one holds less string and is kind of annoying. Would you say it's annoying? You've used it.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's even annoying to spool up with string.
It's so small.
It's small. I mean, I put about 3 arm lengths on that head. I put about 3.5 on a typical Stihl head, and it just even like these little button things where you put the string through, they it's cumbersome putting it through there after you put the head back on. And even the head, it's got like a spline on it. We could take the head off and show you, but it's got like a spline on it.
You gotta make sure it's the right way.
And it's gotta make sure it's the right way, that way. Put it on. And not a fan.
All right, so come back here to the motors. So they both got the auto return stop switch, which are both kind of too easy to turn off by accident, in my opinion. They both got the same 2-tier trigger. This one's got a much wider handle than this one. What do you say the comfort on this one is?
Out of 10?
Sure, out of 10.
On a comfort handle scale?
Yeah.
I give it a 4.5.
Yeah, these are not very comfortable for trimming for 2 hours or weed whacking for 2 hours. Just not very, they're not for that.
Your hand gets calloused and
yeah. And I mean, if you look, this is kind of cheap 2-piece, just plastic handle. But I mean, it's held up over the years. It's got quite a bit of use.
It's not going to wear down like a rubber handle.
No.
Like if you had a rubber grip. But they're just not, you know, you're holding it for 2 hours or something, not good. 30 minutes of use, probably great.
Yeah, fine. And tell them a story about this crack. Lowe's took 10% off for this crack. So crack them before you take them up to the counter. This is going to break anyway, guys. Fuel tank, we'll look at the capacity. They get whatever. Power, they're the same. Let's go look at the specs.
How's it the pull?
The pull? Oh, this one's got a way better pull start. I mean, that thing is nothing. Pull. It's about to run. This one's like... Also not terrible. Okay, stop. But this is... I'm going to say this one's easier to pull.
Yeah, definitely.
But, I mean, whatever.
Primer bulb standard, choke levers standard on both. This one's a switch. This one's a lever kind of thing, pops out of the side.
Yeah, that one's a switch. But this one you could actually pull the trigger while it's choked. This one, you hit the trigger while it's choked.
Oh, and it unchokes
it.
So you don't run and don't choke.
I don't know if I like that, because sometimes you need a little bit of choke and trigger action, but you can't do that with that one. Whatever, though. Alright, let's take a look at the spec. Okay, this is for the 56, straight from Stihl's website, okay, haters? This isn't fake, this is all real. So displacement, they're both 28cc engines. Engine power, horsepower. You get 1 horsepower. Weight, 10.6 pounds. Fuel capacity, 11 ounces.
16.5 inch cutting swath.
Yeah, okay, so that's your circle of cutting. 16.5 inches. Let's go to the 128 LD. 1 horsepower, 28 cc's. You get a little bit more fuel capacity.
Idling speed 2750. Okay.
Okay. Where is the cutting swath on this one? Somewhere on this list, right? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Well,
okay,
they're
so
similar.
They don't even give you a cutting swath.
They're similar. I don't think they're probably around the same. So for this one, what are your thoughts on these two trimmers?
If I had to choose one, I'm choosing the Stihl.
Yeah, for this one I'm gonna have to take the Stihl too. I mean, They're both kind of whatever, but
I think the handle for this, a combination between the factory handle and the head.
I like this head a lot better.
The head,
Stihl head
the
much
head
better.
to feed the head on this base model Husqvarna, practically base model Husqvarna, is not as good as the Stihl head. That
This is a
Stihl head is
standard
used
head.
on almost every Stihl that they put out today.
Yeah.
So like, I'm gonna have to give this one an overall rating of use, maybe like a. I'm gonna give it a 6. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6. I don't know what you're. What
This
do
is
you?
gonna get a 6.7. 6.7. It's not that much better, but it's better. You know, it's like
It's not like top of the line.
right.
It gets the
They're
job
mid-tier.
done.
They're mid-tier.
mid-tier, base to mid-tier straight shaft weed
in my
whackers.
opinion, a curved shaft weed whacker isn't a weed whacker. So
Yeah.
these are base model. So they're both decent. We think this one's better. If you disagree, tell us why. Now we're going to the real weed whackers over here. Okay, let's start out with the 525L. Let you give it those. Now there's 3 different kinds of these. There's the 525L, 525LT, and the 525LST. They just give you a little bit more bells and whistles. They're all the same 24.5 cc engine. Same like isolation grip thing.
One gets a metal.
One gets like a
skid
metal
plate.
skid plate on the bottom instead of this plastic one. And like one other feature. Oh, one gets like a smaller guard.
Yeah, for whatever reason, it gets like a skinny guard or something.
There's a few miscellaneous, but they're all like commercial grade. They're at the weed whackers. So with this one, there's much less difference between these 2 weed whackers. Would you say?
Yeah.
They're both going to give you 1.2 horsepower. I could leak that for you, but there's not really too many differences. This one's got this handle, if you come here, that's actually independent from the shaft. Well, this one's in the shaft, screwed into it. So it's supposed to stop vibration, and I used it for about 2 hours today, and it's not bad. It does stop vibration. It is a little weird getting used to a handle that sort of moves when you're trying to trim like that, but you know, it's not bad. I do like it. Now, he's got a gripe with this thing that has a vibration at, what'd you say, like mid-throttle?
Mid-part throttle, edging, it'll, like the clutch doesn't fully engage. Now, I mean, if you're wide open, it's going to engage, but if you're only like half trigger, trying to edge like a sidewalk, don't want to throw a lot of sticks or rocks or whatever into the windows or anything, you want to be kind of careful. It's a little bit trickier. You got to kind of figure it out, but another thing I had to note about this is the handle. The handle curves on this, just not used to it. It's nice that you get this quick release wing nut that you can slide the handle forward and backwards or upside down or whatever you want to do. But I think my only big gripe would be that part throttle clutch thing.
I didn't really notice that much. I've used this one some, but I come from that 56 over there to this Husqvarna. So that one, I think maybe these have flex shafts. That's why they do that, and those have.
I know this has flex shaft.
I think this one has, so that's why I do that. I didn't notice much difference between the 2 in vibration. That's just me. Maybe a bit, but not much. Weight. They're both lighter than those for some reason.
Right.
I guess that's a 4 mix. The FS56. This is a 2-stroke, so maybe that's why it's lighter. Between these 2. What do you say the weight difference is? You're splitting hairs, I'd say.
Yeah, you're pretty close.
They're both around 10 pounds.
10,
I
11.
think this one, the official spec, is below.
We have specs.
Let's go look at the spec. All right. This is the 525, 1.2 horsepower. Yeah, 25 cc's. Let's look at that fuel tank. 17.25 fluid ounces. The cutting swath is 18 inches on this. I don't know where I saw it.
Cutting with 9.1 inches.
That's not right. I think that's per side.
Yeah, so
there's no way it's 9. It's 18. I remember it's 18 inches. Here's what we're talking about, that clutch engagement speed.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was. I figured that out without looking at the specs, but it's about, half throttle or a little bit below.
Okay, let's take a look at the 94 now. So 24, so slightly smaller motor, getting the same amount of torque, weighs slightly more according to the official spec, you get more fuel capacity, and your cutting swath is smaller. But you take the guard off.
Both are weight without equipment.
Yeah.
So whatever that means, that might add a half a pound or something.
What is a deflector?
The
guard?
guard.
Okay.
Without guard or cutting attachment, meaning head or blade or.
Oh, okay.
So that one says wherever it says it. Says it somewhere.
It says it somewhere, yeah.
It says it's down there.
Maybe.
It says it somewhere where it says without cutting
Look,
equipment weight.
this even has a vibration spec. So that's interesting. This one.
It even has, look up here, it even has gallons, fuel consumptions, gallons / kilowatt an hour or whatever.
G over kilowatts an hour.
Grams over kilowatt an hour, I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
Still doesn't even give you that.
Yeah, yeah, 9.7 pounds, there it is. Excluding
cutting equipment. So.
And there's one thing I forgot to mention, the exhaust placement.
Yes.
This was a interesting one from a lefty. This one exits directly out the rear. This one exits out the side and pushes it out the rear. So this one, if you're a lefty using it like this, the heat is sort of blowing on your elbow.
Yeah.
With this one, the heat is being exhausted out the back.
I did notice when edging with that weed whacker, it was the same kind of scenario. It was hitting you in your arm a little bit when you have it. I edge a particular way, and maybe if you edge upside down, you're not going to notice it. Yeah. But I edge kind of on like a 45-degree angle or something, if you want to call it, and I noticed a little bit of heat.
Okay, interesting. I did not know that. Now, should we talk about your issue that you had with this?
We could throw it out there. This is a buyer beware kind of thing. I'd rather give good information than bad information.
Okay.
So this weed whacker is like a touch over a year old at this time, maybe a year and a month or something. So I took it to the local Stihl dealer because when you would pull it, you'd pull it and it felt like the motor was locked up. You could get it like this and it would just stop, and the motor wouldn't spin or nothing. It just felt like the motor was locked up. So I took the spark plug out, pushed down a little bit on the piston.
You also dumped it upside down.
A little bit. Dumped it upside down.
Hydrolocked.
Nothing came out. Pushed down on the piston. It freed it up, and then I could pull it.
And then it ran fine.
I put the plug back in. It ran perfect, like no issue. Ran it for a day, a couple yards, and another day I went to pull it. Same thing. So I took it to the Stihl dealership and dropped it off. They looked at it. They said it needs a carburetor because the check valve in the carburetor was letting too much fuel go into the cylinder.
That was hydrolocking.
And it was hydrolocking, which I believe, but I don't believe. So I'm staying optimistic.
But maybe it's good now.
And then they wanted to charge me for it, even though I figured a year-old weed whacker with a 4-year warranty should have, a carburetor replacement,
for free.
For free and a warranty.
Under warranty, covering the warranty.
A commercial weed whacker you pay a lot of money for.
Yeah.
So, even when you buy their still mixing oil and you use decent gas, I don't see why the carburetor would fail like that.
Both of these have the extended warranty that you get when you buy the Husqvarna.
What is the warranty? 4 years?
From 2 to 4, they double both.
It doubles the warranty when you buy their gas / oil. Husqvarna's their gas. You buy their oil.
Yeah, whatever. So I mean that was maybe a one-off issue. I think this has been pretty reliable.
Yeah. No, it's been great for a year. I mean, I don't know about that was just a weird fluke or what, but.
And we could talk about that 90 over there that you've had good luck with.
Yeah, that 90 is 5 years old and never had a carburetor replaced.
Never had an issue.
Never had an issue. Broke the trigger once by my own fault. My own fault, broke the trigger. Dropped it on something. It cracked the trigger. I put a new trigger in it. And very minimal maintenance.
Like spark plug maybe.
Spark plug and an air filter clean and fuel filter or something a couple times.
This thing is... It's
winning a retirement.
Got a lot of. We still use it occasionally.
I mean, I don't even know how many hours it has on it. It's got a lot of hours, and it still starts like first, second pull if you prime it. No choke, and now I've been using it as a brush cutter, putting a blade on it, and it's still impressing me.
Still good. I mean, and then we got the heavy Honda.
The heavy Honda.
4-stroke.
4-stroke overhead valve.
Bars, crazy thing.
Crazy weed whacker, but
this is probably the most expensive MSRP.
It's the most expensive weed whacker, but we've paid the least for it.
$20.
$20 at an auction. Nobody looked at it.
And it will probably start. Let's see. Ready, guys? Just for shits and giggles. I told you it would start. I told you.
And we don't think this was set up for a weed whacking head originally. We think it's a brush cutting head because the guard's real small.
Yeah.
And they put a universal thing on it. It's terrible. Anyway, we get back to here. What's the ease to pull on these?
The ease to pull, I mean, you could tell that's like got some serious compression going on.
That's kind of got the easy start.
That's got like a easy recoil start. And I mean, that thing is way easier.
Choke features. This is a pull out deal. You push it down.
And I've got a primer ball. This one is where's the choke? Oh yeah, right here.
Switch on the back.
And then as soon as you hit the throttle, it pops out. So I mean,
Teach his own.
yeah, I mean, whatever. You can make an argument for both of them.
Oh, still has variable speed dial on 94 model only. So you can dial it back. You want to run a hedge trimmer or something like lower speed. You can crank this up. It sets the throttle at a lower
It
place.
sets the maximum low.
Yeah, So you can adjust that. Both have. This has push button down.
This has
intermittent.
like a slide up.
This has like a slide up thing.
They're both
auto centering or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. This one, did we cover the wing nut?
Yeah, the wing nut head, we covered that.
Okay.
This
Wing
has
handle,
all stills come with like a factory thing.
That one's got it too.
Oh yeah, they all come with like a factory clip for like a harness. If you want to use, they all come with that.
We can talk about this head. We haven't talked about this head.
Oh
have we? This head is bigger and more comparable to this head. And I think this one to load is actually easier because you only got to make one cut. Now he disagreed. He likes this head better because he's so used to it. But I made the switch and I think it's actually easier because you only have to make one cut. It's kind of a pain in the ass to hold the string and pull it back and like fucking make a cut in the middle.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a bit annoying, but also, just for note, this head was loose from the factory or loose from Lowe's, so make sure it's tight.
Oh, the cutting head distance to the string to the top of the head is actually a half inch shallower on this than this.
So this is about 4 inches. This is about.
You see, the string comes out the
3.5.
bottom of the head on this, and it comes out in the middle, and that's where you get your distance practically from.
Right. So it's look. I mean, that's not.
Maybe that's closer to the ground you get with this versus this. You know, when you're doing side, I don't even know.
No, that's pretty.
Maybe that'll help you float over the grass a little bit better, not scalp it as much. You know.
I mean, that's more of a preference thing. You get used to either one.
Other than that,
I think the big.
they're both two strokes.
Two real two strokes. Yeah.
50-to-1 gas.
Both around 25 cc's, like we said. So if you're gonna pick one, which one are you gonna pick?
Well, I think you're splitting hairs.
Yeah, I think these two. There's a lot less difference.
There's like preferences. Like I prefer this handle over this handle. I'm used to like just the design of this handle setup, but I mean, I'm sure if you use this a lot, you would get used to this.
I like this. I do like this actually quite a lot because
the chokes are equally like hard to use. If you want to, pull up on that hard, you got to twist this one. You got to stick your finger in here and twist it and kind of hold it back. I don't know. The starter thing, yeah, this one's a slight bit easier to pull than this one, if you want to say that. Gas tank capacity is almost the same. Heads are similar,
guards
but different.
are even similar, like in terms of
guards.
The
Guards are pretty similar in width.
Yeah.
Overall length's like almost exact same. I mean, there's hardly a difference in that. If you like the vibration thing, or you don't care, or you don't notice the difference, maybe that's a pro or con for you.
Yeah. I mean,
if the clip's a necessary thing, you could add a clip to that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're splitting hairs. I'm just gonna have to go with the Stihl myself, just because I've been partial to it and used it longer. Maybe I could change my mind on the Husqvarna if I use it a little longer.
I'm gonna go with the Husqvarna just because I bought it. I mean, they're both good. I mean, I don't see an issue with either one. If you get this one for $279, buy this one. If you get this one on sale, then buy that one. Like, they're both around $300.
I think if you're not used to a commercial weed whacker, I think you're not going to know a difference if you buy one versus the other.
No, I mean the difference we're talking about if you use these like
a lot,
yeah, like, and you're using them for like 2 hours at a time on big ass yards and whatnot. With these two, it's more of like
hairy homeowner's going to buy a weed whacker. What's he going to buy?
Either of these are going to do fine for that. This one is better, but we're coming from a commercial perspective. Yeah, it's not like whoa, way better or anything. It's just a little bit better.
Yeah.
But with these two, very little difference. Whatever you prefer.
Maybe go try each of them out, hold them at the store.
Right. See which one you like better. And this one is a little bit lighter, so the ounces do come down to it when you're using it for a very long time. So what are you going to give this one?
Rating?
Yeah. What's a 10? The Honda's a 10 just because it's a Honda.
The Honda's a 10, but only in, a virtual scale. No, but I don't know. I'm going to give it a 8.5.
8.5. I'll give this a...
I can't say I've used... I haven't used better, but I'm sure there's something better out there.
Yeah.
I've never used an
These are the
Echo.
These are the two best weed whackers I've ever used.
Yeah. So I mean, what is a 10? There's no 10.
Yeah.
I've never had a 10.
Yeah, so to me this is a 10, but I guess on the grand scheme of things, it's probably like an 8.5, something like that.
I say they're pretty on par overall.
Yeah.
You know, splitting hairs.
You can talk about reliability. I mean, they're both two-stroke engines. People will defend in the comments that this engine has lasted them. They've had the same Husqvarna since they were 12 years old, and their grandfather gave it to them. And the Stihl guys will say, you know, it's German and it's cool, and their German grandfather gave it to them. Okay, it doesn't matter. They're both probably going to be fine. But I think you're just splitting hairs.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Have a good one. What's up, guys? So we're going to be doing a trimmer comparison. We've got $200 Husqvarna and $300 Stihl and fuck. Shit!